Hello and welcome to programme 11 of Art in Isolation. The chickens have arrived and it's all to do with art as well. It had to happen in isolation. We finally bought chickens, although I've just been told it takes 6 weeks before they lay an egg. But they are such beautiful little things. And from the late 17th century, fowl, exotic birds, including chickens, were a subject of artistic material. There was even one painter, an artist called Melchior de Hondecoeter, who specialised in almost nothing else. And you can see the attraction, can you not, of these beautiful plumage-rich creatures for any artist. There's one inside that I'd now like to show you. Oh. So the picture I want to show you, admittedly, is not a chicken, but a pheasant over here. And it's also a dead pheasant. It's part of the still life tradition that goes back to the 16th and 17th century, where objects told stories, where the choice of meaningful things could impart some sort of deeper, more reflective idea of the world. I was at a sale in Bonhams about 10 years ago, sitting there, and this picture came up on the rostrum. I'd never heard of the artist, whose name is Christo Coetzee, but I was so taken by the richness of the image, by the impact and the shape, that I put up my hand and bought it. I've occasionally done this, it does happen. And I've never regretted it ever since. A little bit about the artist. Christo Coetzee was born in Johannesburg in the early part of the 20th century. He made his way to 3 continents, to Asia, Japan. He worked in Europe, in Paris, as well as South Africa, and picked up a sort of global, cultural, fused richness which informed his art. This painting was done in 1955 and exhibited at the Hanover Gallery. It was a heady time when Christo arrived in England, for the art world that is. You had people like Francis Bacon and Graham Sutherland. And what you've got in this art, in this type of painting, is a moment of transition of an artist who is painting in a figurative way, that is, you can work out what you see in the picture, but it's about to hatch, or to use pheasant terminology, to rocket into abstraction. There's so much energy and passion in this picture, it just needs to be briefly described because it's quite easy for your eye to be sort of thrown by it. So what we're dealing with is a table with slightly flattened perspective of the type we talked about with Cedric Morris, the concept of seeing it from above and from the side. So you're able to see beautifully the broad side of this exotic pheasant, the basket going in another direction in order to balance it, and then on the right hand side those rather pretty beguiling flowers. But what defines this picture, and what I saw when it came up at Bonhams, and I could almost touch, is its plasticity, is the thickness and richness of the paint, which informs the 2-dimensional visual response to it. I mean, look at this table here, right out of Van Gogh. It's almost as if he squeezed the paint out. And can you see, if I bring my finger in, just how thick and crusty that is? And then look at these lovely strokes along the pheasant. If I go to his body here, you can see that something's happened to the paint, or he's used some tool in order to give it ridges and sort of stripy lines. I suspect there's a bit of thinner in there. And then the tour de force area, where this painting sort of heaves into the realm of sculpture, is the top of the basket here. I mean, look how thick that is. And when you compare a painting like this, which was done about 1955, and interestingly, if you look where he went next as an artist, you'll see he goes into abstraction far more. And this is what I meant about this being on the verge of some change. But if you compare that to, for example, a painting that I bought a few years ago, which is a late 17th century Italian still life, and you can see why I like it, possibly. I like its rather sort of primitive, strongly outlined clarity. You compare the surface of that to what we've just seen, and it is chalk and cheese, or gorgonzola and milk. I mean, they couldn't be more different. And that's what so excited me about it. So thank you very much yet again for being with us. I've greatly enjoyed doing these. Tomorrow I'm going to be coming back to answer questions. I've managed to corral quite a lot of them, and over the course of 15 to 20 minutes, with the help of my wonderful and glamorous assistant, Oliver, we will attempt to address some of the thoughts and preoccupations and just simple curiosities that you have. Thank you so much, wherever you are. Take care. Thank you for thinking of us. We're thinking of you.